Okay, so let's talk about Peru. Right on its coast, there's this brand new mega project that's literally about to redraw the map of global trade. We're talking about the Chancay port, which just opened up in late 2024. And that's where this comes in. A pretty stark warning, right? This is from the very top of the U.S. military. General Laura Richardson, who's the head of U.S. Southern Command, looks at projects like Chancay, and she doesn't just see a simple investment. No, she sees a deliberate strategy by Beijing to get its hooks, its influence, deep into what America considers its own backyard. So that really sets up the big question for us today, right? How can a port, just a bunch of docks and cranes for moving stuff, be seen as a threat to an entire hemisphere? Well, that's what we're going to dig into. We're going to break down the clues piece by piece, the physical, the legal, even the technological, to figure out why this one port is setting off so many alarm bells. All right, first things first, let's look at the official story. The economic argument for why this port is such a great idea. It's all built around this vision of a new, super fast, super efficient trade route. They're even calling it the Shanghai Express. And you can see why. For countries like Brazil and Peru, this is a really, really compelling sales pitch. 10 days. That's the magic number. The Chancay port is designed to slash at least 10 days off the shipping time for goods going from South America to Shanghai. Think about that. What used to be a 35-day trip is now just 23 days. In the world of global logistics, that isn't just an improvement. That is a total game changer. So here's where the strategy comes in. For decades, if you were in South America and wanted to ship something to Asia, you pretty much had to go through the Panama Canal. That's a choke point, and it's heavily influenced by the United States. But this new Chancay route, it's a direct shot across the Pacific to China. It completely bypasses all of that U.S. influence. What it's doing is reorienting the entire continent's flow of trade, and suddenly the center of gravity starts to shift from Washington to Beijing. But, that whole economic story, that's really only half of it. To get the full picture, we have to start digging. Our investigation starts with the first clue. And it's something hidden right in the port's foundations, its depth. This is where the argument that this port has a dual purpose really starts to take shape. 18 meters. Remember this number because it's a huge deal. That's how deep the water is at the Chancay port. Now, I know it sounds like some boring technical detail, but trust me, understanding what 18 meters means is absolutely crucial to getting what this port is really capable of. So what is draft? It's super simple, actually. It's just how much of the ship is underwater. So the draft tells you how deep the water has to be so the ship doesn't get stuck on the bottom. Deeper port, bigger ships. It's really that easy. And Chancay is being built to be very deep. Okay, and this is why that 18-meter number is so important. Look at the Panama Canal. Even after they expanded it, it can only handle ships with a draft of about 15.2 meters. But the biggest, baddest cargo ships out there today, they need 16 meters, sometimes more. So they can't use the canal, but they fit perfectly at Chancay. And what else fits? Well, how about China's brand new aircraft carriers? They're way too big for Panama. So you see the point here? This port isn't just built for cargo. It's built to accommodate China's biggest and most powerful warships. All right, clue number 2 takes us out of the water and into the courtroom, so to speak. We're moving from the physical to the legal. Because it's not just about what kinds of ships can park there. The bigger question is, who holds the keys? Who gets the final say on what and who goes in and out of this port? And this is where things get really interesting. COSCO, which remember is owned by the Chinese state, managed to get exclusive operating rights. Now, it seems like the Peruvian government had a moment of, wait, what did we just agree to? They actually tried to challenge the legality of giving one foreign company total control, but they lost. COSCO, and that means Beijing, kept its full exclusive control. So let's be super clear about what this means. This isn't just a lease, like renting an apartment. This is basically a little piece of Peru that's no longer fully Peruvian. With 100% exclusive control, COSCO can legally tell anyone to get lost, even Peruvian government inspectors, and they don't have to give a reason why. The port basically becomes a black box, operating under its own rules right there on the Peruvian coast. Okay, that brings us to our final clue. And this one is a tech threat, hidden in plain sight, literally towering over the whole operation. I'm talking about those giant cranes that load and unload all the cargo. See, the port is filled with these so-called smart cranes, made by a Chinese company called ZPMC. And U.S. officials have been sounding the alarm, saying these things are a huge security risk. Why? Because they're packed with advanced sensors. They could potentially be used to scan containers, see what's inside, and track where everything is coming from and going to. It essentially creates a digital backdoor, a way to feed a constant stream of intelligence on everything from your Amazon order to sensitive military equipment straight back to Beijing. So, let's put it all together, shall we? You've got a port deep enough for the biggest warships. You've got exclusive legal control that basically makes it a Chinese-run zone. And you've got all-seeing technology that can spy on every single thing that passes through it. So, what's the verdict here? Well, let's go back to that warning from General Richardson. She talks about how China uses these mega projects and dual-use facilities to threaten the sovereignty and safety of the whole region. And when you lay out all the clues from Chancay, her warning doesn't just sound plausible, it sounds disturbingly on the money. This stops looking like it's just about business and starts looking a lot more like it's about projecting power. I mean, just look at them side by side. The difference is night and day. Chancay isn't just another option instead of the Panama Canal. It is a strategic upgrade. It's way faster, it's deeper so it can handle warships, and maybe most importantly, control isn't in the hands of a U.S. ally. It's directly in the hands of the Chinese state. It's a complete logistical bypass of American influence in the region. So, if there's one thing to take away, it's this. Chancay isn't just a port. It's a strategic node. It's a foothold. It gives China the power to dominate trade in the region, to gather intelligence, and, this is the big one, to potentially support a military presence deep, deep inside the Western Hemisphere, thousands and thousands of miles from home. And all of this leaves us with one last really big question to think about. We're seeing a whole new generation of these massive projects redrawing the map all over the globe. So we have to ask ourselves, who's actually drawing the new lines? And more importantly, what do these new lines of power really mean for the rest of us?